Introducing the new industrial buyer. So what does this revolution mean? Let's get started by introducing you to the new industrial buyer. The new buyer is significantly different from the old buyer. The new buyer is web savvy, does his own online product research, does his research anonymously using the internet with Google search. And by the way, research has shown the buyer's anonymity is crucial to the process. So what does this new industrial buyer mean to you? Most frighteningly, he not only does his own research, but he unilaterally whittles down the list of bidders before you, the seller, even knew a project existed. Your only chance at a first-round sales pitch is what he saw on your website. Like it or not, your website is now the face of your company. That's assuming the buyer can even find your website. When the buyer finally calls, he's close to a buying decision. He's not looking for a best friend. He's already got a golden retriever for that. His job depends on solving today's emergency and then moving on to the next emergency. Don't get me wrong. Contact with him is important. Conversation gives the buyers confidence in your ability. For the duration of this project, you might be his best friend, but once solved, he's off to his next new friend. These relationships are critical but fleeting. The most exciting fact about buyer researching is regarding project timing. Buyers don't search for industrial products until they are ready to buy, and then they're ready to buy now. The phenomenon is called ZMOT, or Zero Moment of Truth. It's the magic moment in which the buyer determines they have an itch that needs to be scratched. From that moment forward, the seller's promotional materials change from shun crass advertising to sought-after information. This is indeed a magic moment for sellers. So, how do you adapt to the reality of the new industrial buyer? First, stop looking for buyers. This is counterintuitive to everything we've ever learned, but it's the new reality. Start moving your resources from finding customers to making yourself findable. Buyers now find sellers, and the real payback is in making yourself findable and how you respond to being found. You start making yourself findable by nuking your existing website. You need to change your mindset from a website being a long-term asset like a drill press to a shorter lifespan like a laptop computer. Although the content has a long shelf life, the look and the feel of the website and the back-end technology are only good for 2 to 5 years at most. The big boys like Amazon and Google are changing their websites daily. Never forget, the website is your frontline customer pitch. If you fail here, you will never get to the next step in the new buying cycle. Lastly, stop making websites that talk like one expert seller is talking to an expert buyer. The buyer's not doing research because he's an expert. He's doing research because he's not an expert. Get into your buyer's head and ask yourself, what would you be looking for if you were him? Answer his questions and concerns. Don't simply regurgitate your feeds, speeds, and horsepowers. Push the feeds and speeds back to the FAQ section of your website and leave the first impression to establishing a conversation with the buyer. What results can you expect from making these changes? Here's what we experienced. Over time, we increased inquiries from under 50 per month to over 400 per month. We lowered the cost per inquiry by 78%. And thanks to ZMOT, the Zero Moment of Truth, we were only talking to people that wanted something now, which forced us, by the way, to a much faster response mindset. Using these digital marketing concepts, we sold over $30 million of industrial goods online. The good news is this is not rocket science. You just have to learn to think different.